Hello and welcome back to Dragon Age Inquisition's Codex. So we've got a few more Codex entries and I think we should be able to get through them all today, hopefully. So, first one. I am the one. I feel the sun through the ashes in the sky, where's the one who'll guide into night. What's begun is the war that will divide this divine. What's to come is fire in the end of time. I am the one who can recount what we've lost. I am the one who will live on. I have run through the fields of pain and sighs. I have fought to see the other side. I am the one who can recount what we've lost. I am the one who will live on. Okay. Is that the Maker, possibly? Talking about? Could be. Do we have any more tales? I think that was all the tales. Okay. Yep, it's all the tales. Places. On Skyhold. Page from an enchanter's journal, scorched to near illegibility. The style is an old Ferelden dialect, circa mid to late Divine Age. Experiments and ambient lingerings, first staging. The question isn't is it special, the question is how special. We found relics, but there are always relics. Elves ranged far before their empire was crushed, but rarely did they return to where they did not build. This place they visited again and again. I see it in the fragments, clay from different nations, not just craftsmen. Styles from different centuries, not just lands. And yet no record of a ruin. The structures here are all Ferelden, with stone ferried up by a typical madman. Whatever was here, whatever natural spire, it was flattened for a floor. But I know the common shapes, and I will erect them as was custom. And we shall see what the elves wish to see. The note below is in a different, uneducated hand. I will finish this for Master Gannot. His workings brought lightening. Much lightening. Oh, lightning. The rods are pools of metal now, and his workings burned. Master was also struck. I write here his last words because his fingers are ash and he did not live the night. The veil is old here. Skyhold has not just been claimed time and again, but sacked as well. We've managed to uncover some remnants, including a scratching under a pillar that mentions the name given by your witch. Old, but still long after the place had been built over. The author knew something of its first purpose, or at least something of a legend. For Landovalis, him Sabellaralis, San Elger Melandre, him Samaris Fintaldrin, word missing, Nadasalin Tilvraris, Nesuli Testeplenera, Torreslen Telas Vinar Ablathver, word missing. Even with assistance from your elf, we only managed a partial translation. Elven is often a game of intents, not a direct mapping of phonetic meaning. That means it's a mess. Our belief transformed into everything. Assertion, or problem, uncertain. All time is transformed into the final/first death. Uncertain. Inevitable threatened victory, horrible promised freedom in the untorn veils. Uncertain. Where the sky is held up/back, where the people give gain. Love that is apology or promise from to. Subject. Missing subject, uncertain. Mostly complete as fragments go. The rhythm is strange, not like the others I recorded. Perhaps less a poem than a statement. The elven language does tend to meander. Notes from the archivist. So this is a bit on the new home for the Inquisition. Is this Skyhold in here? No, I think that's somewhere else, but you know. The next place. This is on Kirkwall from Dragon Age 2. The city-state of Kirkwall. From the office of Provisional Viscount Bran of Kirkwall, Please circulate to all functionaries, swap in the names of our newest benefactors, and let us be done with their endless attempts at cleverly veiled intentions. To the forces and or diplomatic representatives of, copy their names and meaningless honorifics here. Thank you for your kind offer of tiresome insistence, but I assure you that we are quite inundated with similar inquiries at the moment. It falls to me as Provisional Viscount to draw your ire, and for that I sincerely apologise. I assure you that I do not wish this to be the case, neither the refusal nor my place in the delivery of it. Perhaps you will join the chorus of those questioning whether I possess the authority to deny you. Rest assured, when the arrows are still in the air, it is common for those who desire stability, but lack the will to fight for it, to impose the opportunity onto others deemed expendable. And as I was one of the few remaining who knew the relevant protocol, representing freed Kirkwall apparently falls to me. Or rather, with the role left open, I was pushed into it by unpopular vote. In either case, there is falling, but the president is... There is falling, but the president is well tested. Maybe it's failing? Aww. I expect the previous in no way will deter you from continuing your aggressive inquiries. Kirkwall has always been a valuable port, the nexus of nearly all trade that flows between the Free Marches and Ferelden. It has changed hand many times before, and I expect, posturing leader's name, would see it do so again. On this point, I would urge caution for the number of factions that have deviated from the historical norm. While the office of Viscount has long been vacant since the unfortunate end of the Dumar line, we have not been without effective leadership. The role of the champion in stabilising Kirkwall cannot be minimised, despite the actions that have been more widely circulated. No doubt your leaders have heard this is where the ripples of rebellion began. That is true, and violently so, which makes any stability we have earned preciously guarded. As those ripples travel outwards, our champion and others have committed to the continued calm of the centre. As such, we are eager to resume commerce and will entertain any and all promises of trade. I do assure you, offers of protection and the extension of foreign borders or troops are not necessary. I am nothing if not a realist. If your inquiry is made with genuine intent, then this appeal should be suffice to end the matter graciously. If, however, your offer was a mere formality before attempting a disguised occupation, I'll refer you to the first examples of cite the two most recent fools who would not listen, who made similar assumptions that we would be a desperate target. I would then direct you to the person who ensured that the forces of those same two idiots were summarily expelled in various states of dismemberment. Because, deluded new interloper, despite the fact my underwhelming name carries the Provisional Viscount honorific, Captain of the Guard Avalon Valen has spontaneously and effectively assumed all matters of defence. While we were temporarily without such guidance, she assured that the Guard were well prepared, and I have welcomed her return. Her activation of the Kirkwall militia has been spirited and fearless, two things I do not care to be known for, so I stay out of her way. For the sake of your health, I advise you do the same. In greatest respect to you, newest invading frown prick, Provisional Viscount Bran. So it looks like after the Kirkwall, the Mage Rebellion started there was people were like foreign nations were trying to take it over, so probably Orlais, and I can't remember whether it was part of Ferelden or whether it's just near it. So maybe Ferelden were trying to get in there. Anyway, they're quite well protected. We have one place I didn't see. Oh, yep. The Fallow Meyer. I spent the last week in the Fallow Meyer. The bog stretched forever and it's slow riding at night when the mists get thick. You can still travel along the old roads and there's enough good hunting to make the trip worthwhile. Fish, birds, and even a few hearts. There's one thing to look out for though. When anything dies in the water, the mire preserves it. I was stalking a magnificent buck when a corpse clawed out of the water at me. I'm not afraid to say I ran. No rack of antlers is worth fighting a demon. My cousin in Fisher's End thought it was funny. Says he has to look out for undead every time he goes outside the village. I don't know how he stands it. Diary of a Hunter from Denerim. Okay. So this is the Fallow Meyer where we had, the undead attacking us. It was alright. History. This one. In your heart shall burn. Then the Maker said, to you, my second-born, I grant this gift. In your heart shall burn, unquenchable flame, all-consuming and never satisfied. From the Fade I crafted you, and to the Fade you shall return, each night in dreams, that you may always remember me. Canticle of Therinodus 5:7. In passages 1 through 6, his children wanted for nothing. Freed from need, they could only praise, but it was hollow without cost. We, and all the physical, were created immutable, that our works would require struggle. I wonder created of wood and stone. I wonder created of wood and stone provides more intent than any wish of the Fade. Here in the gentlest verses of the chant, we see how his great gift. Here in the gentlest verses of the chant, we see how great his gift and how stern his punishment. To inspire, he gave us dreams, such that we would strive to make this limited world reflect his glory. Some look upon that nightly memory and feel only desire, as though owed his splendour. We, the second children, were meant to master the wants and wanes of emotion and childless pursuits, to honour a distance and move ever forward. We failed in this, and the weakest of us did act as petulant infants crawling back into his sight. Because we could not master our desire, because we acted on pitiful instinct, because we dared look upon the Maker to fulfill our need and not his, he is lost to us. But he is merciful while stern, and we remember that we have lost what we have lost. His second children can learn, grow, and change. If we cannot, then we are no better and no worse than his first children. From the word and challenge of the chant by revered Mother Hevera. Okay. So, first children are elves, I think? Saying the elves have already they don't follow the Maker, so. And then humans need to follow the Maker. Okay. The Avars. Driven across the Frostbacks in ancient times, the Almari tribesmen split into 3 groups. One settled in the Ferelden Valley, one was pushed into the Kokari Wilds, and the last returned to the mountains. Modern Fereldans bear little resemblance to their Alamari ancestors, and the Chastened remember few of their traditions, but the Avar have changed little throughout the ages. Like the Chastened, the Avar are not a united people. Each tribe fends for itself and is beholden only to its Thane. They still follow their own gods, Korth the Mountain Father, Hakon Winter's Breath, the Lady of the Sky, as well as dozens of animal gods never named to outsiders. Nothing lasts in the mountains. Wind and rain eventually eat away at the strongest holds. Valleys that were arable one generation are locked in year-round ice the next. Game is constantly on the move. Even among themselves, the Avar make no absolute promises. They wed by a tradition in which the groom struggles to untie a tightly knotted rope, while the bride sings a hymn to one of the gods. However many knots he has undone by the time her song ends is the number of years she will spend with them. Lowlanders often forget there is no such thing as a permanent alliance in the Frostbacks. From Ferelden Folklore and History by Sister Petren, Chantry Scholar. So these are the people who kidnap some Inquisition soldiers, and then they want to challenge you to a duel. The Orlesian Civil War. When Grand Duke Gaspard attacked Empress Celine of Orlais in an attempt to claim the throne, we assumed business across the country would suffer greatly. To counter propaganda suggesting she was overly tolerant of the elves, Celine was drawn to crush an elven uprising in Hamos Shirel, and Gaspard's attack there destroyed her forces and cut her off from Val Royeaux. She escaped back to the Elysian capital with 100 mad stories explaining how. At which point we started closing down the family shops, expecting Gaspard's army to carve a bloody path through the Heartlands and up north towards cities loyal to Selene. Instead, the humans have been downright reasonable. We made a killing on furs and silver in Valroyo as Gaspard's hold on southern Orlais cut off incoming trade goods from Ferelden. The nobles in Montfort and Val Chevron also bought up violets as though their touch killed Darkspawn. Apparently Selene declared that wearing purple flowers was a way for humans to show their loyalty to her. In Ferelden half the cities would be on fire, but in Orlais the nobles make jokes and the merchants just keep peddling their wares while Gaspard and Selene's armies clash in the dales. The only people really suffering are the peasants, and then that's true enough anywhere. Send extra guards on the next shipment, but save the lyrium for Ferelden. The family is doing good business here as it is. A letter from Durnal Harrick, dwarven merchant, to his family in Ostwick. An interesting view into Orlesian culture, I guess, there. How they handle war. Don't really go mad and panic. They just let the armies deal with it and they'll pick up the pieces when it's done. Okay. Creatures. Bog Fisher. I accompanied Marquess de Archambault upon this expedition reluctantly, although de Archambault insisted that an exploration to show me the truth and the beauty of the world might assuage the consternation of which I observed it. As we entered the caves, the cold and brackish water dripping incessantly, we came upon a hulking beast whose great flapping paws slapped stone. In countenance it was bored, its flaps of hide hanging loose across its bristled back. De Marchemont drove it away, laughing at its clumsiness, heedless of the declinate fangs protruding at unknowable angles from its distended maw. He said the beast, or Bog Fisher as locals called it, was a failing vestige in the land of men fit to be tamed or slain. That night we camped beside an underground lake, its rippling waves a cirrus of inhuman whispers. The sepulchral emptiness of the starless night was vast, our own fire pitiful in its sullen rebellion against the unending dark. The Bog Fisher slipped away from the lake, its flapping paws perfectly equipped to propel it through the water. Its spiny maw closed upon de Marchemont. Then the Marquess was gone, his frantic thrashing all we could see in the frenzied white water as the Bog Fisher pulled him under. That night I knew this was not the land of men. This lightless, torpid waters are not tamed. Men are but ants crawling witlessly across the lily pad in a pond. Most think the emerald land bound to their tiny will. Those few who peer over the edge and see the leviathans, pale-bellied, scales shimmering in colours with no name, swimming beneath them, can only scurry away, trying in vain to articulate the vast and uncaring terror that awaits. What my eyes have seen, my limited mind may never comprehend. But I shall never draw near dark water again, the Bog Fisher has taught me well. From An Antimone of Various Terrible Beasts by Baron Harvard Pierre de Mortisan. The Bog Fisher likes hiding in dark places and water. Master does not like baths. Footnote in the margins of the manuscript by the Baron Scribe Dunwich. Okay. And do we have a picture for this thing? That is one ugly beast. Okay. Despair Demon. Once upon a time, we classified these demons as sloth. We classified these demons of sloth, but we learned that despair demons are something quite different. They are not the antithesis of justice or valour, but rather of hope. They form nightmares, tearing away the foundations of self and purpose. When brought into the world, they are most attracted to places the downtrodden populate, alienages, slums, prisons, and the like. The miasma they spread can lead to extreme behaviour. We look for a rash of unexplained suicides, men and women so filled with grief they lash out. The most intelligent of these creatures are to be feared, for they not only feed on despair, they understand its causes and seek to bring it about. From the shadows they ruin lives, drinking the tears of those who have no idea the cause of their misery is not random chance. From a lecture by renowned hunter Sir Hayward of the Templar Order. Yes, we met some of these in the swamp as well. It does seem like a place where they would fit in quite nicely. Foot Soldier. I have faced on TV and duelists, Ferelden and Ash Warriors, and Fog Warrior skirmishers. When we strip away the titles and tricks, they are simply men who wish to see their enemies dead, but need a hand free to manage it. Duelists favour a thinner target over the offensive strength of a main gauche. Ash Warriors need a hand to guide the Mabari and lighter weapon to take advantage of the openings their dogs leave. While Fog Warriors rely on strength and speed too much to use a heavy shield. When engaging such an opponent, respect his speed. His hands and feet will move a great deal. Ignore them. Watch his hips and his shoulders instead. First deny what advantage he has in his allies or environment, unless you have trained equally in such matters. Once you control his weapon, overwhelm him. He has no shield, and you need not fear a second blade. If forced to fight in such a manner, you must decide whether you will fight as a duelist, one-handed, or as a chevalier. If the former, drop your back leg away to tighten your centre target, as you have no shield to cover your body or a second weapon to bring into range. Focus on a quick attack and give ground freely when you cannot find an advantage. If the latter, rely on your vambrace and gauntlet as a shield and try to wrench your opponent's weapon away. My left arm bears the scars of such efforts, but my opponents bear worse. Better still, do not lose your shield at all, but battles are not a place of perfection. An excerpt by A Mediation upon the Use of Blades by Swordmaster Machis de Jeanmin, required reading at the Academy des Chevaliers. So I think we read this before, but I now have apparently read enough to get a research bonus against humans. Interesting. It's got a picture as well. Check we're not missing anything. Right, Mage. Mages are not demons or monsters, they are men and women like any other, except for their skill with a weapon few are given. I say this to be clear that I do not think all mages should be put to the sword, as some believe. However, every mage walks through life with a blade drawn and ready, whether they wish it or not. Those who insist that mages are harmless must ask how the apostates who fling fire when the Templars attacked learned how to kill so well. We in the Academy know well that no skill comes without practice. If you fight a mage, you must be close with him, regardless of the danger, or risk being overwhelmed. A mage's strike rarely hits with the force of a trained chevalier's blade, but often carries unnatural energies. Fire that boils a man inside his armour, lightning that steals the strength from his limbs, and so forth. To hold back is to give him time to alter the battlefield to his advantage in some fashion, whether he summons a wall of ice, a demonic ally, or magical flames to strengthen the blades of his guards. We know that the warrior who controls the battlefield is most often the victor. You must keep him reacting to you and continue your attack. Mages rarely wear heavy armour, but their magic can shield them as effectively as our own plate. I have said many times to watch the hips and arms of your opponents instead of the hands, but with mages, the hands and arms may be your only clue. If his body is protected from your blade, attempt to tangle his arms or bear him to the ground. It is not elegant or honourable, but there is no honour when fighting a mage, there is only survival. An excerpt from A Mediation upon the Use of Blades by Swordmaster Machis de Jeanmin, required reading at the Academy des Chevaliers. So basically, if you go and pressure the mages, they won't be able to cast their spells as well. Seems pretty simple. Revenant. An entire unit of men, all slain by one creature. I didn't believe it at first, your perfection, but it appears that this is so. We have a survivor, and while at first I thought his rantings pure exaggeration, it appears to be no simple skeleton. The descriptions of the creature's abilities were eerily similar to those our brothers at Marnus Pell encountered almost an age ago. Men pulled through the air to skewer themselves on the creature's blade, and attacked so quick that he was able to assault multiple opponents at once. Know your perfection. What we have here is indeed a revenant and nothing less. From a letter to Divine Amara III, 571 Exalted. A revenant is a corpse possessed by a demon of pride or desire, making it among the most powerful possessed opponents one can face. Many possess spells, but most are armed and armoured and prefer the use of their martial talents. They are weak against physical attacks, but regenerate quickly and commonly use telekinesis to pull opponents into melee range should they try to flee. Revenants also have the ability to strike multiple opponents surrounding them. Stay at range if possible and strike quickly. That is the only way to take such a creature down. So yes, you don't want to tangle with revenants. That was a tough fight for us, I remember. And I did it. And they were especially tough in previous games as well. Wraith. Like wisps, wraiths are sometimes thought to be the remains of a spirit or demons that have been destroyed. They cannot shape the fade around themselves, nor are they capable of mimicking forms. They see in their minds of the dreamers as many weaker spirits do. Instead, they are scavengers of the fade, dwelling in the shadow of stronger beings, feeding on the scraps of thought and emotion. From beyond the veil, spirits and demons by enchanter Miradromo. Yeah. Right. Characters. Yep, only a few to do here. So I think we've read the top of this. Yeah, we've read the first part of this. I'm going to read the second part. Inquisitor. If you believe this Cole truly wishes to help the Inquisition and can be trusted to do so safely, I'm willing to give him a chance to prove himself. As Solus insists he is a spirit made manifest in the form of a young man, not a demon possessing an unwilling victim, I concede that he may or not be malicious. Nevertheless, Cole's abilities concern me. I would ask Liliana to have him watched, but most of Skyhold seems unable to see this spirit or remember him even if informed of his existence. The servants complain of odd occurrences, items meleed or moved to strange locations, but have thus far been unable to see or remember the person responsible. Such actions remain harmless thus far. But I remain vigilant, Cassandra. Cole appreciates the Inquisition helping those who are hurting and in need. Okay. Good. It's a little bit more about Cole. Who is this? Corpheus. Yeah, Corpheus? Corpheus. Let me tell you what I know about the Seven. Those Tevinter Magisters said to have entered the Golden City long ago. Each was a high priest to one of the old gods. Each came to the ritual shrouded in secrecy, hiding their true name even from each other. They were competitors, you see. The old gods told them they would break into the Golden City and usurp the Maker's throne. But only one of them could sit on that throne. Each assumed a title related to their role in casting the ritual. Some texts claim they had a leader, the High Priest of Dumat, called Corpheus. He did not rule this group, but instead conducted it, coordinating their efforts to achieve a magical feat never since replicated. They breached the Fade, walked physically in dreams, and changed our world forever. Perhaps these seven were the first Darkspawn, cursed by the Maker, and as the Chant of Light tells us. Perhaps not. One would think these Magisters long dead, but there are whispers that this is not so. Think, if you will, what might become of the minds of such beings, corrupted by the blight, cast down from prideful folly, simmering in resentment and darkness for over 1,000 years. Where would such men live? Who knows of them? For someone must, if whispers persist. What secrets do they yet hold, and what would we do, should any one of them return to the light? With luck, these are questions we will never have to answer. From Questioning the Chant by Magister Vibus Agoran. So Corpheus is currently the big bad in this game. So we're going to deal with him at some point. And the last one is here. Right. Champion of Kirkwall from Dragon Age 2. I've heard the name Hawk on several lips this week. Many of us blame the champion for the events in Kirkwall which sparked a war and hurled all of Thedas into chaos. But what can we truly fault Hawk for what he did? He was a poor refugee from Ferelden who came to the Free Marches fleeing the Blight. Coming from a family of apostates, Hawk must have spent his life hiding from Templars, hearing about the abuses to which mages, under the care of the circle were subjected. Make no mistake, there were abuses. We'll never find a peaceful solution to this conflict until we admit that we were partially responsible. Imagine how it must have been for Hawke when he rose to prominence for his role in ending the Qunari threat of 934. From a refugee to champion of Kirkwall, Hawke's position gave him power and influence. Nothing could touch him. But although the champion of Kirkwall walked free, there were mages in the gallows who did not. The thought must have rankled. Are the champion's actions due to during the Mage uprising so hard to understand, given all I have said? Following the destruction of the Chantry, Knight Commander Meredith invoked the right of annulment and called for the execution of every mage in Kirkwall. It was not right, another injustice added to an already lengthy list. Hawke knew it and stood against her. He put himself between the Templars and the Mages, and they sought to destroy him, became a legend, even though he later disappeared, fleeing Kirkwall and the Chantry's justice. Whatever happened in Kirkwall that day changed Thedas forever. By defying Meredith and our order, Hawke became a beacon for the Mage Rebellion, and that gave mages hope, rallied them. They fought back, and now we stand on the eve of the Divine Conclave seeking peace before the rebellion destroys us all. Knight Commander Martu of Montsamard, speaking to the Templars attending the Divine Conclave. So yes, this is, I'm guessing this changes based upon what choices were made in Dragon Age 2. I'm on the default world state, so this will be the default choices it chooses. And you're just going to check we finished everything? Yup. Seems like a good time to end. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.